So, hi again, everyone. Sandy's back, and we're going to do something a little different this time. We are at the beautiful Pensacola Lighthouse tonight, and we are going to do a little bit of a ghost investigation, see if we can spot anything. And see, the Pensacola Lighthouse is right up there in all of its glory. It's hard to see, but so basically, guys, try to get back in some light here. Here's some history on the Pensacola Lighthouse. So as far as the spirits that are said to haunt the lighthouse, they're said to be about 4. And the first 2 are the first keepers of the light. And way back when the lighthouse first, and I'll get some dates for you on screen and stuff as we do this, but there was a lighthouse keeper, and he married a beautiful lady named Michaela, and they became the first keepers of the light when the lighthouse was first built. And they are, so Michaela evidently had like a fascination with the light and kind of went overboard in taking care of it. She kind of became obsessed with taking care of the lighthouse. And so, and much to the dismay of her husband, of course, who didn't favor as much of her attention as he would have liked. But so she became obsessed. She, like, white glove treatment, everything had to be perfect. It had to be a certain way, a certain time, a certain thing. So, and some stories say, well, he died here at the lighthouse, but it is said that it could have been murder. I haven't found any stories that prove that. Just we do know that he died. He said he was stabbed in the chest with a knife, possibly by Michaela. And then she took over as lighthouse keeper until she passed away. So there's our first 2 spirits of the night, and I'm sure we're going to learn about a few more too. There was also, during the Civil War, there were 2 escaped slaves that were captured inside the lighthouse grounds, and they were held, and then eventually hung here on property. And then there was also a lady, wife of a lighthouse keeper, who died during childbirth. So there are some of the stories that I know of. I'm sure we're going to find out a few more, and hopefully we can get some good stories for you tonight and see what we can find out. So some of the gear we've brought with us tonight is we have an EMF meter, and we also have a spirit box, as well as night vision camera capability. The night vision camera does not have sound, so I'm probably going to have to, I'll do some talk over so you know what you're looking at with that video. But that's what I know so far, and now we're just going to get prepped. Now I will tell you guys, you're going to see some shiver and you're going to see some camera shaking, because it is bone cold out here. It's 37 degrees right now, and the temperature is just going to drop. It's going to get down to 25 tonight, and probably in the mid to lower 30s by the time we leave here in a few hours. So with that, I'll let you guys go for now. And this is a little bit new for the channel, so you guys tell me what you like. Leave me comments down below. I'll see you soon inside. Bye now. Good evening, everyone. So before we actually go into the lighthouse and conduct our investigation, it's best to understand some of the history of the lighthouse so we know what kind of possible spirits we could encounter inside. So Pensacola is the oldest European settlement in mainland America. It was originally settled in 1559 by the Spanish, and the original settlement was large. They had 1,400 people, and 11 ships arrive and settle in Pensacola. However, unfortunately, weeks later, after the settlement arrived, they were decimated by a massive hurricane in 1559, which killed hundreds of people, grounded ships, and basically ruined most of their supplies. The remaining survivors were divided and relocated to other settlements, but due to famine and attacks in Pensacola, the whole effort was abandoned in 1561. Now, the Spanish viceroy said that Northwest Florida was just too dangerous to settle, so pretty much no settlements occurred for another 135 years. So when the United States took over control of Florida from Spain in 1821, the federal government recognized that Pensacola Bay had one of the deepest, nicest harbors, so they established to actually build a naval station and a lighthouse in Pensacola. And in March of 1823, Congress said they authorized $6,000 to build the original Pensacola Lighthouse. And the site was located just west of Fort Barrancas, and because ships would be able to directly steer into the harbor, which was not able to be previously done. So the tower was lit on December 20th of 1824 by the first keeper, Jeremiah Ingram. Now, if you remember in my introduction, I mentioned the ghosts of the first keepers. Well, this is kind of a correction to that story, because Jeremiah and his wife, Michaela, never actually was stationed at the current lighthouse. They were at the old lighthouse. So that story didn't actually occur. But after 2 years, Jeremiah married Michaela. They had 3 children at the original lighthouse, and they managed the station till Jeremiah passed in 1840. Now, at that point, Michaela took over as keeper of the light until her own death in 1855, and then it was passed to her son-in-law, Joseph Palms, as the keeper. Now, during this period, there were many complaints about the lighthouse, that there were trees blocking it from the island, and also the light was too dim, which doesn't really effectively allow ships to come in to be able to see it, and there were still accidents. So in 1852, the Lighthouse Board recommended that a new first-class light be built in Pensacola that at least should be 150 feet tall. So Congress again allocated the money to the Army Corps of Engineers to construct the new lighthouse half a mile west of the old lighthouse. Now, the construction was completed in 1858, and the tower was first lit on New Year's Day in 1859 by its first keeper, Keeper Palms. The tower stands over 159 feet tall and was painted white and black to be a nice stark contrast between the green, lush background. So at this point, it takes us into the time of the Civil War, which is very helpful to discuss so we understand some of the other possible spirits that can be found inside Pensacola Lighthouse. So with that, let's discuss Pensacola's role in the Civil War. On January 10th of 1861, Florida ceded from the United States. Union forces abandoned Fort Barrancas in favor of Fort Pickens on the western end of Santa Rosa Island. The Confederates took control of the tower and eventually discontinued the light and removed the lens. The opposing forces warily watched one another across the bay for months. Thus, in early 1861, the war could have easily started at Fort Pickens, Florida, rather than at Fort Sumter, South Carolina. However, a truce was worked out at Pensacola in which the North agreed not to reinforce the fort and the South agreed not to attack it. Immediately following the southern bombardment of Fort Sumter, North Carolina on April 12, 1861, Union forces landed near Pensacola to reinforce Fort Pickens. Then on November 22, 1861, a 2-day artillery battle erupted. The lighthouse batteries were frequent target for the guns of Fort Pickens, and roughly half a dozen rounds struck the lighthouse tower. Confederates evacuated the area on May 9, 1862, and the lighthouse again fell under Union control. None of the rounds penetrated the outer wall of the lighthouse, and the tower was found to be in good condition. It was lit again on December 20, 1862. Oh, so you're back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. Which war? The Civil War? Did you die in the Civil War? Or did you die in World War II? And I'm sorry to hear that you died. Oh. I'm sorry. Is that why you can't talk to me?
I'll believe you're serious talker when it starts giving me cuss words.
Just getting some bouncing activity, nothing.
Your activity.
Nothing crazy. You're a funny guy.
Yeah, I'm hilarious.
Naomi, I just saw David mess with your toys. I think you should mess with him.
We live in the same house. It's not a smart idea.
Oh. No, it's not.
Yes, it is. So you walk away, I'm down.
This room just... What is it with this room? What is it with this room?
It's the mannequin. That's what it is.
It's got it. It's something. Because this room, like, ever since we first came in here, it just, like, it's not my phone.
No, it was a light switch. It was in my hand when I walked past the door.
All is well. Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that. This room is like wiggy. I don't know.
I mean, it's cluttered. It's just setting you off.
Oh. Ah, it's kind of freaky. I don't know. Something about that room. I'm gonna go over here for a little bit. Ah.
Ash.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Care.
Spirits by these names and they respond to them as we have Lizzie and Joey. They're brother and sister, Joey being the older brother and Lizzie being the younger sister. Lizzie in particular is very particular about how this room is set up and how her toys are set up. So the way that we have the bedroom laid out now, we've had it for a long time. They tried to kind
So we're just now leaving Pensacola Lighthouse. That was awesome. Not a whole lot of video we could take in there because of the rules and stuff and whatever, but we'll be bringing you guys back and doing some one-on-one stuff. one of the bennies for volunteering here. I don't even know why I'm pointing it that way because it's like you can't see anything. So yep, we're just driving out of NAS Pensacola now. So it was an awesome tour. If you're in the Pensacola area, I recommend it highly. All the staff there are very knowledgeable and can definitely share some good stories with you. And we'll share more about what we saw coming up. Thanks so much. Get out there, and as always, get muddy or cold, as the night said. Cold.